these windswept plains, power is measured in courage and horses.
The Mongolian steppe, a land of fire and frost, where empires were born beneath the hooves of thunder. From this vast and ruthless world came legends written not in ink, but in blood and dust. Among them, one name rode higher than most, a warrior whose strength defied every boundary of her age. Her name was Khutulun, the princess who wrestled 1,000 men and never lost. Power is not given. It is seized with courage. Long before Khutulun's birth, her bloodline had already conquered half the world. She was the great-great-granddaughter of Genghis Khan, the unstoppable storm of Asia, the unifier of tribes and the terror of kingdoms. By the mid-13th century, the empire had splintered. Genghis's descendants ruled across Persia, China, and Central Asia, each claiming to inherit his might. Amid this fractured legacy stood Kaidu Khan, a fierce ruler of the Chagatai Khanate. Independent, proud, and defiant of Kublai Khan's rule in China, Kaidu was Khutulun's father, a man of war, strategy, and rebellion. His camp was not just a royal court, it was a fortress of warriors, and in its heart grew a girl destined to outshine them all. Khutulun was born around 1260 CE under a sky painted with firelight and wolf howls. Her mother was of noble descent, her father a living legend. But from the start, Khutulun was no ordinary princess. Unlike other royal daughters who learned poetry and embroidery, she trained beside the sons of Mongol generals. Her playground was the saddle, her toys were bows and blades. By age 12, she could ride a horse full speed while loosing arrows with deadly precision. Kaidu watched her grow with pride and a hint of awe. She was fast, cunning, and fearless, matching even his most trusted warriors in mock combat. Her hands were calloused from archery, her arms strong from wrestling. The winds of the steppe seemed to whisper her name. Khutulun, the daughter of iron. To the Mongols, strength was sacred. Men and women alike were expected to fight, to ride, to survive. Yet Khutulun didn't just meet that expectation, she shattered it. Kaidu often led her into council meetings with generals, not as a silent observer, but as a strategist. She learned military formations, enemy scouting, and the sacred Mongol tactic, the feigned retreat. When the armies of Kublai Khan clashed with her father's forces, Khutulun rode among the front lines. While most women remained within the camp walls, she wielded her spear in open battle, cutting down enemies twice her size. Her bravery spread through the steppes like wildfire. Songs were sung of the princess who fought beside her father and never turned away from danger. One winter night, after a grand feast, Khutulun made a declaration that would echo across Asia. Standing before nobles and generals, she said, "Any man who wishes to marry me must defeat me in wrestling. If he loses, he will pay with a horse." Her voice carried the weight of steel. The crowd erupted, laughter, disbelief, and admiration. But her father, Kaidu, smiled knowingly. He had seen her throw down men twice her weight, warriors seasoned from years in battle. Thus began the legend of Khutulun's contest. Men from across the empire, warriors, princes, and generals, came to win her hand. None succeeded. Each opponent was thrown to the ground with speed and precision. Her technique was unmatched. She'd use her opponent's momentum against him, hook a leg, twist her torso, and bring him crashing down. By the time rumors spread to the farthest Mongol borders, she had defeated over 1,000 challengers and won 10,000 horses. The men feared her, the women admired her. The empire called her invincible. Khutulun's fame as a wrestler was only part of her legend. On the battlefield, she was a storm. When Kaidu rode to war against Kublai Khan's armies, Khutulun rode beside him, commanding a detachment of elite cavalry. During the Battle of Bamiyan, her unit was surrounded by enemy archers. Instead of retreating, Khutulun led a flanking charge through a narrow mountain pass, cutting through enemy lines like fire through grass. She saved her father's army from annihilation that day. Kaidu began to rely on her judgment more than his generals. She advised when to strike, when to retreat, and when to lure the enemy into false victory. Her strategies reflected the Mongol spirit, swift, deceptive, and merciless. And yet, in the quiet of the night, under the cold starlight, Khutulun sometimes wondered, Would history ever remember her as more than just a warrior woman? Khutulun was not only her father's warrior, she was his most trusted confidant. Kaidu's rebellion against Kublai Khan lasted decades, and Khutulun played a vital part in it, negotiating alliances, managing logistics, and inspiring loyalty among the troops. When Kaidu's health began to fade, his followers debated succession. Many saw Khutulun as the rightful heir. She was brave, wise, and proven in war. But Mongol tradition favored male leadership. Her brothers and cousins contested the idea fiercely. Still, Kaidu himself said, "If only my sons were as brave as my daughter." That statement shook the steppe. The seeds of envy were sown, and with it, whispers of betrayal began to stir. After Kaidu's death, Khutulun fought to hold the empire together, but the factions tore apart faster than any sword could mend. Her power waned, her enemies grew bolder, and yet she remained undefeated in spirit. Chroniclers from Persia, China, and even Europe wrote about her. The Mongol Amazon, the wrestling princess, the daughter of war. Her end is shrouded in mystery. Some say she died in battle. Others say she was assassinated by rivals, threatened by her power. Her body was buried in a secret place so her enemies could never desecrate it. But her legend endured, immortalized in Mongol song, and later inspiring writers centuries later, even influencing the character of Turandot, the proud princess of legend who would only marry one who could best her, even when forgotten by history. The brave remain eternal.
Subscribe now for more legendary stories from the past.